Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This is your video reaction and our first viewing of The Expanse, Season 1, Episode number 8. We're starting to get to the point where I'm going to hold up the wrong number of fingers if I start to do that at the start. The title is Salvage, and I hope that we can salvage together a good reaction for you. You see what I did there? All right, now we're going to talk all about worlds colliding.
Yep.
People seeing each other for the first time. What was that at the end of the episode? Enter Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
Before we do anything else, though, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any other updates. We've got a lot of Expanse still to get through.
Yep.
Is this the most shocking ending that there's been for an episode so far in Season 1? There's been a lot of them. That's why it's a hard ranking.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's that shocking. We did see Julie in the very first episode with this weird blue material that looked like it was eating people. So we knew that she was in contact
With something.
with it to some degree. It's mostly just now the mystery has shifted to what is this blue material that is killing people or eating people, or what is happening with this stuff.
Bad stuff is going down, and the problem seems to be now, I mean, we'll settle in on the Julie in a minute, but where are you going to go to find clues about this sort of stuff now?
Yeah, I mean, the only real clue they had, they blew up.
Yeah, I understand being like, you know what, the world doesn't need to see this. It's better we just get rid of it.
Well, and also revenge.
Yes.
You guys blew up our ship. We are going to blow up your ship. And whatever that blue material is going on in that ship is a bad time. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a bad thing, but now they really don't know what is going on, and neither do I.
No, nobody knows at this. Well, I'm sure all of you guys know because you guys have all seen ahead, so don't spoil it.
Yeah,
But
don't spoil it.
it is still, we're kind of just befuddled by the whole ordeal. And I thought Julie was going to be alive. I didn't necessarily think that she was going to be like, hey, I want to be on your side, Miller, or anyone else who finds her. But I thought we would actually kind of see her instead of, oh, she's dead and it looks like some really horrific nastiness happened to her.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey that everyone has been on to basically find someone who's been dead this whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I think there is still payoff. I don't think it's necessarily, wah. There's nothing really that's here for us.
No, because it still opens up this larger mystery that this is a lot bigger than just Julie or whoever was behind this, that now there's also this blue material that's killing people.
Can we get together like a collection to send Miller a fruit basket or like some chocolates or like get Holden to hug him or something? I mean, this is a bad day for Miller.
It is, but I've maintained, and I could be wrong about this, but that it never was really about Julie. And yes, he wanted to be able to find her. And yes, he wanted to be able to bring it all together and figure it out. But after the last episode with him traveling, in the tube and his discussion with himself about himself and leaving the station and going to go and find Julie, he has accomplished what he needed to accomplish. He needed this for himself to rediscover himself. What he was saying, people are calling him a joke and giving him these cases that they don't really care if he solves them or not because he's a joke, and that he felt that he was not good enough anymore, that he didn't know himself anymore, and now we're here.
He's seen it through. I think he has
Yeah.
continued through this journey of his. I think he's probably on some level devastated that Julie is dead and he can't necessarily save her. But like you said, I don't think it's just about saving her. I don't think this was fully just Miller with the savior complex. I think it was.
It doesn't feel like it.
No, it feels like this was Miller with something that he felt like he needed to do, sort of to prove something to himself. And, a lot of people, when they have something they want to prove to themselves, they accomplish it in easier ways. Like, I want to prove to myself that I can climb this hill, not that I'm going to traverse the solar system and search for answers on what is becoming a more and more horrific case as time goes on.
I feel like Miller is still going to find what he needs for himself, because I don't think this is the end of it for his own self journey of, I am good at this, I can do this. Now he's opened up a bigger mystery and more of what he needs to solve. And he knew that there was more to this anyways when he found the space hamster data card. So I feel like he's still going to be invested and he's still going to want to move forward. It's not just about Julie, it's about Miller, and I really like that.
I was really curious to see, because once we got about halfway through this episode, I was able to sort of piece together. I was like, oh, the gang's going to get together. We're going to have the reunion. Well, it's not really a reunion. We're going to have a meeting.
Yeah, first meeting with everybody.
I was so excited. Whenever you think about something like that, you always think everybody's just going to be strolling into this room. There's going to be some happy music playing. I don't think I prepared myself for the possibility that Miller was really not going to care about them, and that they weren't really going to be all that chummy with Miller either. And it was just sort of it wasn't the happiest of meetings, I would say, though they're not enemies either.
Yeah, well, it also wasn't the happiest of circumstances.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, basically assassins were come to take out Holden in this street fight type deal to make it look like it was just a thing on the street, random crime and all that sort of stuff. But for Holden and his group, they didn't really know anything about Miller, so I wasn't sure what that meeting would be like. But Miller has known that Holden's video has caused a lot of problems where Miller lives, which is something that I've always said about him, that he feels to me that he is very situational. He doesn't want his home to be disrupted and everything he knows to be turning into a dumpster fire. So Holden, you may not be the biggest fan.
Yeah, I think that is clear. I think Holden and Miller, maybe if they get a drink, sit down, talk things through, maybe everything will be a little bit clearer. I don't think Miller is unreasonable. I think he will sort of understand logic. I think he's certainly going to understand something terribly weird is going on now. And here are these people who are going to know more about it than pretty much anyone else out there.
Yeah, because they're the only people that have actually seen this before. They don't know a lot more about it. But, man, that whole scene with them on the ship.
Yeah.
That was really intense.
Yes.
I was just waiting every moment for something to go really badly on there. It was really intense.
And there were a lot of intense, just moments across the board in this episode, too, because you had everything there. I love the continued transport of Miller to Eros in the first place, and just seeing kind of, this is someone who acts all tough in some ways. Here he is doing something that he really doesn't do. And let's stop in for a moment. I want to talk a little bit about the Mormons within this show, because there's a lot of weirdness about this to me. And not in the sense that there are Mormons on the show, but rather that we keep kind of focusing in on this group of people, 100 or so of them, who are going to be traversing and heading out on this epic journey to destinations unknown. I mean, it's an exciting sci-fi sort of element where there's always these people who want to venture into new frontiers. But do you think there's something more to them?
Oh, for sure. I don't know what it is. They haven't really revealed a lot of it, but the Mormons and the religion has been threaded through these 8 episodes. I'm not sure what is going on. I said this earlier, and I hope that maybe this is not where it's going, unless they're going to do it in a way that's different than what's in my mind, but I'm really hoping that the Mormons are not behind all of this and that it's like some grand plan to put all the Mormons on the ship and just destroy everybody else who's not a believer and move and start a new society, and that's not really where we're going, I hope. But yeah, I do feel like there's something greater that's building there with that. I just kind of like the idea that we're in this universe where everything is space and science related, and we still have people there that believe in God.
Yeah, and I think it's always fascinating to see those kind of things juxtaposed. Like, I could go down the Mass Effect rabbit hole here again and talk about Suvi from Andromeda, but like, regardless, it's always great to have a character or characters who believe in something else and can kind of rationalize their religion despite living in a world where so many things regarding science are constantly preached. And I think, this particular man who Miller meets, he finds so much of who he is from his faith and sort of understanding that there is a larger purpose.
Yeah.
I think in some ways Miller believes that, he has a larger purpose himself, but I think it's one that he thinks is more related and more internalized, that it's all based on what sort of future he creates for himself.
Yeah.
I just think it was that to me was one of the more interesting character moments of this episode, and I think there were a lot of interesting sort of character stuff that happened.
What are you thinking's going on with the Mormons?
I don't necessarily think that they are out to destroy everyone, but I think that they are on some level connected to this technology, whether that be that they have certain knowledge of it that other people don't have, and maybe this technology fell into the wrong hands somewhere along the way. I mean, I think it's also possible that one of these other characters that we met so far could be secretly behind this and has some sort of mustache-swirling plan all their own. I mean, I am not putting anything past Anderson Dawes at all. Like, that guy could totally do something like this.
Yeah.
So that's where, my head is in a lot of different directions with this, but I'm just happy that one part of the world is together. With that in mind, I think it's sort of fair to ask, is another part of this world going to ever mold in now? Because we still have Christian and that storyline going on.
Yeah, and it doesn't really feel like that part of the world is coming together at this point, even though we know that she wants Holden alive.
Yeah.
So she knows that the assassins have gone out. She may not know yet that they have all failed.
They failed miserably.
But eventually she's going to find out. And I'm kind of hoping that at that point she's going to be like, well, time to just deal with it myself, because clearly you can't deal with it, your assassins couldn't deal with it, and now gear up my ship, let's go deal with it.
Yeah, that to me would be so fun, and it's just sort of like, Christian, her methods are a little bit extreme, but it's sort of like at the same time, it's just like, you know what, Christian, you're at least thinking of possibilities here. You gotta think of the scenarios. And she's much more aware of the possibility here that Holden is not some instigator of everything, and that rather he is just a part of this larger ploy.
Well, and that even just the fact that he is a source of information, and if you kill Holden, you have killed the source of the information to get to the bigger, better thing that they need to take care of, because Holden is not the person responsible, and she knows it. But if we don't have Holden, then what do you have? It's almost like what's happened with Miller. He felt that Julie was going to be a part of this bigger puzzle. Now he doesn't have Julie anymore. Yeah. Julie is covered in some weird blue mass. So where does he go from there now that that's gone? So I feel like I want to see Christian just go and figure it out herself and actually put herself out there. I don't know if she will, because she is such an important figure that they weren't even going to let her go to Holden's mother's house without protection. Is she really going to be able to say, I'm going to deal with this on my own? I don't think so, but I'd like to.
I'd like to see it, and I feel like in general, the cool thing about a show like The Expanse is you can do episodes that are a little bit more like individual character based, and then you can do episodes that are a little bit more plot based, because I feel like in past episodes I could say more about, I learned more about this character, or I found out more things about that character. Like, we've had that with Amos, we've had that with Alex, we've had that with a few different people. But to me, this is more about, rather than just individual people, this was an episode that was sort of more about the collective, where everyone kind of gets a better sense of who each other is.
Yep.
And then also kind of where we're driving towards. And the Anubis has everything has come. We now know how to pronounce Anubis properly. Well, we already knew that, but...
Well, I already knew that. For those of you who have not watched our videos before, I'm a former funeral director, and when I was in mortuary school, very first day of class for history of embalming and death in general, Anubis. I learned all about Anubis and all about Egyptian death and their methods of burial and stuff like that. So anyways, I heard Anubis and I was like, Anubis! It means something to me.
Very appropriate name for a ship, given the circumstances.
Absolutely.
But I think the thing that's funny about discussing this episode is I keep having to just resist temptation to just keep wanting to speculate on where things are going to go from here, because it's a really ridiculous prospect for us viewing a show that everyone else has already seen. And it's a credit to the writers of The Expanse, because I mean, if I was watching this show when it was actually on, this would be one of those episodes where I would have just ended it and I would have just been like, for like 10 minutes straight, and that's all you would hear from me, and I wouldn't be able to form complete sentences. But now it's sort of like there's more episodes awaiting us at our fingertips.
Yeah, we know that we can get into the next one as soon as we can. But going forward, I would really like to see Miller stick with the group till the end of this journey for the first season. I would really like to see it. It's been a build-up to get everyone together. The band is together. I'd like to see it for a little while longer. They don't need to stay together for all the seasons, but they're on the same journey. Why not stay and figure out some stuff together, share information, move forward together?
It could be really fun. And I think beyond all of that, I think character-wise it would be fun just for Miller to continue to be the sort of fish out of the water. This is a guy who's so comfortable on series doing sort of his day-to-day. How is he going to handle, Holden's coffee or the sleeping quarters of being around this tiny group of people for this long?
Yeah, and I feel that they can all give each other something. And especially for Miller, who doesn't have really any experience, not being in his home, this group of people who has lots of experience being everywhere could really help him out. His detective skills can come in to help out Holden's crew. This is a very good relationship for everybody, especially us as the viewers who want to see this, or at least us as viewers. I want to see this. Yeah,
I want to see it play out, and I mean, with that in mind, I just want to go and run to the TV and just watch the next episode of this, because I'm so interested in how we unravel all of it. But let's wrap this video up, because I want to know from you guys, when you first saw what happened to poor Julie Mao, what was your reaction, and was it the equivalent of, let me know in the comments, and also give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the Carter Matt store, and we'll see you here next time.